The metal scanner remained silent. The screening device showed no alerts. Nevertheless, for the fifth occasion in less than an hour, Officer Rick Buzz Paul snapped on his rubber gloves and directed an accusatory gesture toward the woman wearing the expensive cashmere overcoat. "Exit the queue immediately," he commanded. The bustling O'Hare concourse fell into an eerie hush. Jordan Banks, an executive managing a multi-billion-dollar investment portfolio, refused to break down. No screaming, no tears, just a frigid, intimidating expression that typically preceded aggressive business acquisitions or law enforcement actions. Officer Paul remained unaware that he wasn't simply targeting a corporate executive. He was confronting a federal operative carrying concealed credentials deep within her luggage. His work shift, along with his entire existence as he understood it, was approaching its conclusion. The electronic timepiece above the TSA security area displayed 11:15 p.m. Beyond the frosted glass barriers of Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, fierce winds propelled snowflakes across the runway in a wild dance mirroring the disorder within Terminal 3. New Year's Eve had arrived. Every traveler desperately wanted to reach their destination. Jordan Banks shared that sentiment. At 38 years old, Jordan possessed the natural confidence that emerges from navigating both Chicago's rough southern neighborhoods and Silicon Valley's executive boardrooms. She dressed in a charcoal wool overcoat layered over an ivory silk top, dark jeans, and designer ankle boots worth more than many individuals' initial automobiles. Her baggage consisted of a sophisticated matte black Rimowa carry-on, somewhat worn from 12 months of constant travel. Her professional identity extended beyond Chief Information Officer. She had founded Aegis Dynamics, a cybersecurity corporation contracted directly with the Department of Defense. Tonight, however, she existed merely as a Group 1 passenger attempting to return home to Washington, D.C. to celebrate the new year with her spouse, David, and their twin girls. Boarding credentials and identification, the gate attendant muttered without eye contact. Jordan presented her passport and mobile device. The display showed her traveler status, TSA pre-check, global entry, clear membership. The agent scanned the documents, hesitated, and examined her closely. His attention lingered on her hairstyle, elaborate micro braids gathered into a sophisticated low bun. He observed her footwear, then reviewed the passport again. "Jordan Banks," he pronounced, elongating each syllable, "traveling solo." "Affirmative," Jordan responded, her tone polished and precise. "Is something problematic?" "No issues," he mumbled, returning her documents abruptly. "Proceed to Lane 4." Jordan collected her belongings and moved toward Lane 4. The pre-check corridor was intended to be the expedited lane. Shoes remain on, laptop stays packed. It represented sanctuary for exhausted travelers. She positioned her bag on the conveyor. She traversed the metal detection portal, complete silence. She stepped forward, reaching for her luggage. "Ma'am," the voice cut sharply through the ambient terminal noise. Jordan pivoted. A TSA officer stood beside the conveyor system. His identification badge read R. Paul. He appeared as a stocky individual with a military-style haircut fighting a losing struggle against male-pattern baldness and eyes that seemed perpetually searching for confrontation. "Does this belong to you?" Paul questioned, indicating the matte black Rimowa. "Correct," Jordan confirmed. "I must rescreen it. There's an irregularity," Paul announced with excessive volume. He didn't await her consent. He seized the handle and forcefully pushed it backward through the X-ray scanner with unnecessary aggression. Jordan inhaled deeply. Acceptable, she reasoned internally. Holiday season, elevated security measures, let this pass. She waited patiently. The bag traversed the scanner a second time. Paul stared at the monitor for an uncomfortably extended period. He squinted. He tapped the glass surface. Then he regarded Jordan, a smirk forming at his mouth's corner. "Bag inspection," he declared. He hauled the luggage onto the stainless steel examination table. "Step over here, ma'am. Keep your hands visible." "Is there a concern, officer?" Jordan inquired, moving closer. She checked her timepiece. 11:28 p.m. Her flight began boarding in 20 minutes. "We shall determine that," Paul stated. He unzipped the bag. He didn't merely search it, he violated it. He extracted her carefully folded silk garments and deposited them on the unsanitary metal surface. He opened her cosmetic case and squeezed the tubes of premium moisturizer to verify consistency. He removed her laptop, a specialized military-grade device, and rotated it in his unwashed hands. "This computer is quite heavy," Paul observed. "What's your profession?" "I operate a technology company," Jordan replied, her patience diminishing. "I work as a consultant." Paul snorted dismissively. "Consultant, certainly, that's everyone's claim." He lifted a pair of athletic shoes from the bag's bottom. "These appear used. Do you run?" "Yes." He dropped the shoes atop her silk blouse. "All right, repack everything. You're cleared." He didn't offer assistance with repacking. He simply departed, wiping his hands on his trousers. Jordan clenched her jaw. She rapidly folded her clothing, sensing other passengers' stares burning into her back. She secured the bag, grasped the handle, and proceeded toward the departure gate. She advanced 10 feet. "Ma'am, the one in the gray coat, halt." Paul had returned. He stood near the body scanner, gesturing her backward. "Me?" Jordan indicated herself, disbelief washing over her features. "Affirmative, you. Random selection protocol. I require you to proceed through the body scanner." "I possess pre-check status," Jordan stated, her voice dropping lower. "I just passed through the metal detector. I just endured a bag search." "It's a randomization system, sweetheart," Paul stated, invading her personal space. "The computer selects a number. You're that number, unless you prefer not to fly today." Jordan studied him. She recognized the gleam in his eyes. This wasn't computer-generated selection. This represented a power display. She reversed direction and returned to the security checkpoint. The second inspection proved worse than the initial one because Jordan had already cleared security. She had to technically exit and re-enter the secure zone, creating a bottleneck. A chorus of complaints erupted from the queue of travelers behind her. "My apologies," Jordan murmured to a young parent struggling with a child's stroller. "He summoned me back." She entered the millimeter wave scanner, the glass cylinder where you must raise your arms in surrender position. Whoosh, the machine rotated. "Step out," Paul ordered. Jordan exited. "Alarm on the groin area and hair," Paul announced to everyone present. Jordan froze. "Pardon me." "The machine flagged your groin region and your hair," Paul declared, his voice carrying theatrical performance quality. He glanced at his colleague, a younger woman named Officer Sarah Jenkins, who appeared uncomfortable. "Jenkins, conduct a full pat-down, complete resistance check." "Officer," Jordan stated, turning toward Paul, her eyes hardening like flint. "I have no metal in my hair. These are braids and I certainly possess nothing in my groin area. This constitutes harassment." Paul advanced closer, crossing his arms. The badge on his chest gleamed under harsh fluorescent lighting. "Listen, lady, you can argue with me and we can summon the LEOs, law enforcement officers, to escort you to a private room and you'll definitely miss your flight. Or you can allow Jenkins to perform her duties. Your decision." Jordan observed the clock. 11:40 p.m. "Proceed," Jordan stated tersely. Officer Jenkins approached hesitantly. "I apologize, ma'am," she whispered, snapping on fresh gloves. "I must use the back of my hands for sensitive regions." Jordan stood in the checkpoint center, legs separated, arms extended, while hundreds of people watched. She stared directly at Paul throughout the entire procedure. He didn't avert his gaze. He watched with disturbing satisfaction as Jenkins ran her hands down Jordan's torso, checked her jeans waistband, and patted down her hair, squeezing the bun. "She's clear, Buzz," Jenkins announced, stepping back. "Nothing found." Paul appeared disappointed. "Test her hands for explosives." Jenkins blinked. "Buzz, she has pre-check." "Test her hands." Jenkins swabbed Jordan's palms and inserted the sample into the ETD, explosive trace detection machine. Jordan waited. The machine analyzed. Green light, clear. "She's clean," Jenkins stated, relief evident in her tone. Paul chewed his lip. He resembled a gambler who just lost a hand but refused to leave the table. "Fine, go." Jordan didn't speak. She grabbed her bag and departed. Her heart pounded against her ribcage, not from fear, but from rage so cold it felt like ice in her veins. She needed to reach the gate. She needed to make a phone call. She walked briskly toward the tram that would transport her to Concourse C. She was midway down the long corridor, the moving walkway humming beneath her boots, when she heard the squawk of a radio behind her. Then heavy footsteps running. "Stop, security, stop that woman." Jordan halted. She closed her eyes briefly, inhaling deeply through her nose. "You must be joking." She turned around. It wasn't Paul this time. Two airport police officers, hands on their holsters, jogged toward her. Paul waddled behind them, pointing. "That's her," Paul yelled, breathless. "She grabbed something from the bin. I witnessed her. She stole a passenger's watch." The crowd gasped. A man in a business suit clutched his briefcase. A woman pulled her child closer. Jordan stood perfectly still as the police officers surrounded her. "Ma'am, put down the bag," the first officer, a tall man with the nameplate SGT. KOWALSKI, ordered. "I didn't take anything," Jordan stated calmly. "Officer Paul is targeting me. This is the third time he stopped me in 20 minutes. "We have a theft report," Kowalski stated sternly. "We need to search your person and your bag again." "Right here?" Jordan asked. "In the middle of the hallway." "Unless you prefer going to the station," Paul interjected, catching up. He was grinning now, a wide, predatory smile. "We can do it right here. Let everyone see what kind of thief you are." Jordan looked at Paul. She realized then that this wasn't merely bias. This was sport for him. He was bored on New Year's Eve and wanted to break the wealthy black woman in the expensive coat. He wanted to see her cry. He wanted her to beg. Jordan looked at Kowalski. "Officer, I am the CEO of Aegis Dynamics. I hold a top-secret SCI clearance. If you search me again based on this man's fabrication, you will regret it." Paul laughed, a loud barking sound. "Yeah, and I'm the King of England. Open the bag, sweetheart." Kowalski hesitated, studying Jordan's demeanor. She didn't look like a thief. She looked like someone who commanded armies. But Paul was the TSA supervisor on the floor. "Open the bag, ma'am," Kowalski stated. Jordan knelt on the terminal floor. For the third time, she unzipped her rimwa. Paul stepped forward and kicked the bag's side with his boot, accidentally knocking it over. "Whoops, clumsy me." Her clothes spilled onto the dirty airport carpet. Her undergarments, her documents, her toiletries. A few people in the crowd laughed. Most looked away in embarrassment. Jordan didn't scramble to collect them. She slowly stood up, leaving the mess on the floor. She reached into the inner pocket of her trench coat. "Whoa, hands!" Kowalski shouted, reaching for his taser. "I'm retrieving my phone," Jordan stated, her voice cutting like a blade. "I'm calling my attorney, and then I'm calling the FBI director." Paul rolled his eyes. "Oh, please, you're not calling anyone until we locate that watch." He knelt down and began rifling through her scattered belongings, tossing them aside with contempt. He picked up a leather folder. He shook it. He picked up her toiletry bag and emptied it. "Nothing here," Paul muttered. He stood up, red-faced. "Check her pockets. She probably concealed it in her coat." Kowalski looked at Jordan. "Ma'am, I need you to empty your pockets." Jordan stared at him. "No." The hallway went silent. "Excuse me." Paul stepped in. "You don't refuse us." "I said no," Jordan repeated. "I have been searched 3 times. I have been groped. I have been swabbed. I have been accused of a felony. I am finished." Paul's face turned purple. "That's it. Handcuff her. Resisting a federal screening, disturbing the peace." Kowalski reached for his handcuffs. "Ma'am, turn around." Jordan didn't move. She looked past them down the hallway. She needed an exit. She needed a witness. And then she saw him. Walking out of the Delta Sky Club holding coffee was Harrison Ford. Not the actor, Harrison Ford, the Deputy Director of Homeland Security for the Midwest region, a man she had consulted with on a classified data breach 2 months earlier in D.C. "Harrison," Jordan's voice rang out clear and authoritative. The man in the suit stopped. He turned. He squinted through his glasses. His eyes widened. "Jordan." He started walking toward them faster now. "Jordan Banks, what the hell is happening here?" Paul spun around. "Back off, sir, police business. This woman is a thief." Harrison Ford ignored Paul. He walked directly up to Kowalski. "Why is Jordan Banks, the head of the DoD's primary cyber defense contractor, being threatened with handcuffs?" Paul blinked. The confidence faltered slightly. She stole a watch. I witnessed it." "You witnessed it?" Harrison asked. He looked at Jordan. "Harrison," Jordan said, her voice deadly calm, "this officer has stopped me 3 times. He has sexually harassed me. He has dumped my belongings on the floor. And now he's accusing me of theft because I refused to let him humiliate me further." Harrison looked at the mess on the floor. Then he looked at Paul. "Officer," Harrison said, pulling a wallet from his jacket and flipping it open. A silver badge with the Department of Homeland Security crest shimmered in the light. "I'm Deputy Director Ford. Who is your supervisor?" Paul's face went pale. The smirk vanished. "I'm Manager Holloway is on break." "Get him," Harrison barked. "Now." Paul scrambled for his radio. But it wasn't over, not for Jordan. "Harrison," she said softly, "I don't just want his supervisor, I want his badge." Harrison looked at her. He saw the fire in her eyes. He knew that look. He'd seen it across the table at the Pentagon. "Jordan," he said, "you have a flight to catch." "Not anymore," she said. She reached down and picked up her leather folder from the floor. She dusted it off. "I'm not leaving," she said, looking Paul dead in the eye as he stammered into his radio. "Not until he is terminated and arrested." She opened the folder and pulled out a small black leather wallet of her own. She flipped it open. Next to her driver's license was a gold shield. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Special Consultant. She held it up so Paul could see it clearly. "You wanted to search me, Officer Paul," she whispered. "You found me." The story continues with Paul's interrogation, the security footage revealing no theft occurred, his subsequent arrest, and Jordan's ultimate vindication. Paul is fired, prosecuted, and exposed as running an illegal resale operation. Jordan uses the $3 million settlement to create a travelers' rights defense fund, helping passengers who face similar harassment. This narrative serves as a compelling reminder that intimidation frequently masks insecurity. Officer Paul believed his uniform granted him the authority to demean others, but he made the fatal error of judging someone by their appearance. Jordan Banks didn't just defend herself. She defended everyone who has ever been bullied by someone in a position of petty authority. Her victory wasn't solely in the badge she carried, but in the composure she maintained. It demonstrates that when you remain calm, understand your rights, and refuse to be broken, the truth will eventually emerge. And sometimes karma strikes back with federal force.